Previously on Game Soup. Well, I'm flying on in. I'm gonna hit you. This isn't even a variation on the first trick. It's just the same trick repeated twice, meaning you have no choice. You have to kill yourself.
With all due caution.
You'll be rewarded with this, taking damage from an enemy hiding inside.
Mighty number 9. What the hell went wrong?
It's done. It's over now.
Patreon.com/GameSoup. Please. Where did we leave off again? Was it here? Yeah, that's right. Okay, so there are several stages where the camera stops rolling at a certain point, and you have to survive in some arena-style gauntlet, with enemies spawning all over the place. You know, I think these arena-style sections are designed solely just to piss you off. I mean it, just look at this one. What if you don't have any boss weapons yet? Well, if you're brighter than me, you might consider using alternate fire, but since this is just one of the few instances in the entire game where alt fire actually serves a purpose, you may have just forgotten about it and tanked the damage instead. If the developers want the player to use alt fire here, give a signal or hint at it through the level design somehow. Like, I don't know, you put an unreasonable number of these guys in some extremely narrow path so that it's very clear that you're not supposed to just jump in and tank, and make it so that the only way to hit them is by shooting at a 45-degree angle. Heh, alt fire. That's also a great segue into some other underused and underexplained mechanics. Of course, alt fire is by far the biggest offender here, but there are plenty of others. Did you know that you can dash while ducking? If you do this, your current height is preserved, and you'll do a sort of duck dash, I guess, which looks only marginally shorter than the regular dash, so it's not really clear why these two different kinds of dashes even exist together. Well, except for this single room. You are required, yes, you are required to duck dash, to pass under this instant death wheel. And if you try a regular dash, it'll just kill you. You might expect that this duck dashing might be introduced to us in the game's first level, the tutorial stage. But no, when you approach this giant wheel, there's this lazy on-screen text that simply prompts you to do a duck dash. If this duck dashing was properly explained elsewhere, the developers could expect us to already know the move exists. But they're so uncertain that they've properly taught the player basic controls that the answer is literally given to you. Wait, was I wrong? Is this actually another place to use the duck dash? Wait, you don't even need to. It's just a regular dash. But this is only half of it. Even knowing about this duck dashing, the window to pass under this wheel is unforgivingly narrow. You have to get so close that you're virtually touching it on one side to be able to dash under to the other side successfully. So everything about this moment just seems to be highlighting this one duck dashing move. Why is precision duck dashing so important that it has its own set piece with an on-screen solution displayed? Is it really worth bringing the pacing to a grinding halt? Platformers in general should require some precision and movement, sure, but do they really benefit from this kind of micromanagement? It's sort of like being given a sliding tile puzzle along with step-by-step instructions on solving it. Completing it at that point is really just a formality, and any entertainment or practical value this puzzle may have had is now completely wasted and gone. The same goes here. You have the puzzle, you have the instructions, but the game is going to condescend to challenge your intelligence anyway until you complete it. And if you aren't measuring this dash pretty carefully, you just might die in what feels like a completely unwarranted manner. Throughout all of this, you might have noticed that on the pause screen, you have two E-tanks in the game. Actually, no, it's misleading for me to refer to them as E-tanks because they function completely differently. They charge faster when you get more points via dash combos, so on first glance, it looks like you actually have an incentive to play skillfully. Actually, wait, no, because whenever you die, the progress on your E-tanks is set back to 0. Oh, alright, what? Now imagine you're playing through a stage, you finally reach the boss room, and you die to him your first time through. On your next life, you spawn outside the boss room, but you don't have any E-tanks. In fact, the first time you fight a boss, you probably spent a lot of time just observing patterns, getting hit here and there while you learn those patterns, and generally going on defense. I'm going to go out on a limb here and make a broad generalization, but nobody needs an E-tank on the first encounter with a boss, because they almost always expect to be killed the first time. I mean, you're probably coming in with less than full health, or low weapon energy, and so the only time that Mighty's E-tanks are available to you is the only time you don't actually need them. Now just toss in that limited lives mechanic, and boss attacks that are instant death, and you can see how this starts to get pretty frustrating. The way that these health refills function, the logical conclusion is that you should be using them during a stage if you take too much damage, or at the very end of a stage leading up to a boss fight. But you can have as many as 9 lives before you game over, which kinda sucks all the value out of that proposition. And besides the instant death traps where an E-tank is worthless anyway, the next most challenging thing about Mighty No. 9 is its boss fights. So why do we have health refills that don't really seem to be interested in providing actual utility to the average player? So they didn't synchronize how quickly conveyor belts actually carry you, and they actually push you along faster than they move. What? Ah, top-notch Mega Man style gameplay. You know, it only cost me a cool $4 million.
There are words. Yeah, I was
this-
just gonna say, why don't you crank it up just a little bit so you can hear?
Siblings called the mighty numbers to boost competition. Always in the top ranks, they weren't dangerous. They probably shot blanks.
Jump. Jump. Stop. Holding. Barrier. 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 Barrier.
Ugh. God. There's plenty more to discuss and analyze in Mighty Number 9, but these highlights represent some of the worst offenders of bad game design I've ever seen. Gameplay that is consistently trial and error, off-screen or untelegraphed instant deaths, and completely nonsensical enemy placement all create this nagging thought in the back of your head. Perhaps this game would really rather be left alone. And yeah, you'd be right about that. This game is already the deformed black sheep of the Mega Man formula. Maybe it's time we just let it die in peace. Duck dashing, duck dashing, duck dashing, duck dashing, duck dashing, duck dash, duck duck. It's really fun to say. It's hard to believe that we finally closed the book on Mighty Number 9. This has been a long time coming, and we're definitely looking forward to tackling some new subjects in game design. We already have some plans and lots of great ideas, so as Yoshi P would say, please look forward to it. If you want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/gamesoup. Patrons can watch exclusive long-lost bonus episodes, download and play all of our homemade Game Soup games that we've shown on the channel previously, and you'll also get to read our retrospective newsletters. We release these as companion documents whenever we put out a new analysis video. With all that said, we really need to thank each and every one of our patrons. So, Alchemic, Parker Myers, Austin Yarger, C Bomber, David Lopez, Atlas Jackson, Preston Turner, and Brian Feeney. Seriously, a huge thank you to each and every one of you. Also, a thank you to all the gaming outlets that rated Mighty Number 9 Worst Game of the Year 2016. I think it's because of you that Mighty Number 9 had a brief resurgence in popularity right at the end of 2016, and that brief spike in popularity has had people thinking about the game again, and maybe it's helped this analysis series stay relevant. So now, nobody can say that Mighty Number 9 was really all bad. I mean, yeah, of course the game is a train wreck, but it helped us.